In the season finale of season 2, the entire family takes a trip on Logan's extravagant yacht. And this includes cousin Greg, who is forced to testify before the Senate. Now, initially, when the boat takes off, you've got Tom, Shiv, Jerry, Frank, Connor, Willa, Greg, Kendall, and Naomi. But soon after they take off, Roman, Carl, and Jamie are boated in after their terrifying experience in Turkey. And the family's making fun of Roman, but he doesn't really find it funny because he says it was a really scary experience. And it's changed Roman a little bit because when he's talking about DC and Kendall, he says you did good. But Kendall keeps waiting for the joke. Yeah, you did good for a cokehead, things like that. But Roman doesn't give it to him. He says, no, man, you just did good. Tom, on the other hand, he shit the bed. And Tom is trying to play it off like he did that intentionally to take all the bad publicity away from Logan. Logan then shows up via a helicopter, and he's been spending the day trying to figure out who his fall guy should be. He got a phone call from a very important shareholder who said they think it should be him. And this is a shareholder who's on the fence, so Logan has to consider this. But either way, Logan knows that he needs a fall guy, and an important one at that. It can't just be a patsy. Upon arrival on the yacht, he gets Roman, Jamie, and Carl together to discuss the deal. And Jamie tells Logan that Roman did really good. They're going to supply $10 billion, Jamie will get the rest, and then the company can go private. And while it seems great on the surface, Roman speaks up and says, Dad, I don't think this is real. We can't really hitch our wagon to this. Jamie gets bent out of shape because he's set to make a lot of money off this deal, but Roman continues with saying that if they hitch their wagon to this and the deal falls through, they are done. They're dead in the proxy battle. And Jamie's trying to convince Logan that they don't really have another choice, and if this deal works out, they're home free. Logan then asks what Carl thinks, and Carl sides with Roman, and that just sets Jamie off. He brings up the fact that someone's going to have to pay the price if they don't go private. And it could be Roman, it could be one of his siblings, but somebody's life's going to be ruined because Roman decided that the money that they said was real wasn't real. But either way, Logan sides with both Roman and Carl because he can't hitch his wagon to something that might not be there. Jamie then gets in a boat and drives back to the mainland, and as Logan and Kendall are watching him go, Kendall brings up the fact that Stewie is close by, and Logan cuts him off saying, no, we're not going to do that. He's not quite that desperate yet. Word quickly spreads around the boat, though, that the deal fell through, and because of this, everybody knows that someone's head has to roll. And it leads to a very tense group of people. But one person it won't be is Connor, who approaches Logan looking for some money, because the play that he financed with Willa is getting torched in reviews. And the first question he asks him is if he can put some pressure on the newspapers to just write a nice review. And when Logan seems unwilling to do that, he asks if he can have $100 million. And Logan says, I'll give you $100 million if you drop out of this ridiculous presidential race. You're an embarrassment. You're a joke and you don't even realize it. So if you're willing to do that, then I'll give you $100 million. And Connor gets really pissed off at this. Now, Logan is going to have to figure whose head rolls, but he also has to get one particular person off the boat, and that person is Naomi. And it's not just because she's a Pierce, but it's also because he's worried that she will get Kendall back into drugs. And even though Kendall tells Logan that she's good for him, Logan puts out the mandate that she's got to go, and Kendall sends her on her way. The next day, Logan wakes up and his bed is empty, and he invited Marcia, but to his surprise, she hasn't shown up. He makes a phone call asking if she was aware of the invite, and she was. She just doesn't want to be with him. So his company is falling apart, and now his marriage is falling apart. He then walks out and tells the group to have a nice relaxing swim, eat some breakfast, and then everybody will talk. But nobody can relax knowing that someone's going to get fired, so they just jump right into it. Logan announces that he has decided that it will be him that takes the fall. But immediately the group says that can't happen. Kendall brings up the fact that once the news gets out that Rhea will not be the CEO because she's agreed not to say anything until after the shareholder meeting, they're going to need some leadership, and that leadership needs to be Logan Roy. So they start going around the table saying who they think it should be, and it becomes really awkward because everybody's pointing fingers. At one point, it looks like it's going to be Tom because he makes a lot of sense. He's a high-level executive who's currently in charge of cruises, and Tom feels like he's getting ganged up on because everybody's saying that it makes sense and it works, including his wife, Shiv. And while Shiv is agreeing that it works, she doesn't think it actually should be Tom. And that's what Tom is failing to hear. Either way, everybody's name eventually gets mentioned except Connor's, so he throws his name in there saying that he would do it for a large sum of money because he's cash-strapped. It ends with Logan walking away saying, we have half an idea. And that puts nobody's mind at ease and everybody heads their separate way. Logan then walks up to Kendall asking to set up a meeting with Stewie, knowing full well that it's going to be a really big embarrassment. But Kendall does so, and the two head over to meet Stewie for lunch. And the first thing they tell Stewie is it looks like the proxy vote could go either way, but the Roy family's people are telling them that they will win. So they're going to give one offer and one offer only, and there won't be a counter offer. Logan's going to give the offer, they're going to shake hands, and then they're going to eat some food. And the offer they give Stewie, they think is a very, very fair offer. So they're extremely surprised when he says, no, that won't work. They start hurling insults, but Stewie says, look, you could have offered anything. The fact is, we're turning more and more shareholders every single day. So to the utter surprise of both Logan and Kendall, they have to boat back to their yacht with no deal. Shiv and Tom, however, have gone off to find a cove to have a picnic in. But Tom has carried over some feelings from that meeting, and it all comes out at once on the beach. It's not just the fact that she was ganging up on him, but also the fact that he can't believe she forced him to be in an open relationship the night of their wedding, because he never wanted to do that. He doesn't want to be in an open relationship. He doesn't want to do things like threesomes. And he's starting to wonder if he really wants to be in this relationship, because maybe the pain he feels without her is the less pain that he feels with her. And this catches Shiv completely off guard, and she's kind of speechless, not knowing what to say. She finally blurts out an apology and says, "I'll talk to Logan," and he snaps back, "No, I'll talk to Logan." And when they get back to the yacht, he does in fact, quote, talk to Logan. But his idea of talking to Logan is walking up to Logan at dinner, grabbing chicken off of his plate, eating it, and just saying, "Thank you for the chicken, Logan," and walking off. And this throws Logan for a loop. He can't figure out what the fuck Tom just did. So he walks in to find Shiv asking, "What the hell was that?" And Shiv says, "I think everybody's just on edge." They then start talking about whose head could roll, and Logan brings up the fact that Tom does make a lot of sense and asks Shiv if he would flip. Shiv then takes the heat off of Tom, saying, "Well, what about our original discussion? What about Kendall? He makes the most sense." And Logan does know that Kendall makes the most sense. He knows his name works, but it's just really difficult to throw one of your kids under the bus. Shiv then begs Logan just to spare Tom, and Logan tells her to go get Kendall. Kendall knows that he's making a death march, and Logan explains why this is very difficult, but it's gotta be him. He makes the most sense. He's the big name that would work with the shareholders. He was in charge of entertainment during that time period. And Kendall's thinking maybe this fits because of the fact that he killed somebody and the fact that he tried to take over the company last season. But Logan says, "No, don't be ridiculous about that." He then explains what Kendall's gonna do. He's gonna fly to New York City, make a statement, and Logan is putting him in charge of this because of the fact that he can trust him. Kendall then asks him if he ever actually thought that he could run the company, and Logan starts tippy-toeing around the situation until Kendall keeps prodding, and he says, "No, not really. Because you don't have that killer in you, and you need to be a killer. Although, maybe nowadays you don't. I don't know." The two of them then go out and address the entire family who's eating at dinner and announce that it will be Kendall whose head is on the spoke. And the entire family is shocked by this, but Kendall is putting on a good face, saying it's all right, don't worry about it. Logan announces that the new COO will be Roman on his own, and Frank will clean up cruises. But everybody else is spared. The next day, both Greg and Kendall fly via helicopter to New York City to make a statement, and Carolina preps Kendall saying that he's going to make a statement, there are going to be 3 questions, and then that's it, they're done. So Kendall gets up in front of all of the media with cousin Greg in the very, very back, and he starts off his statement saying that it would be suggested that he would be a suitable figure to absorb all of the anger and concern over the cover-ups. But the truth is that Logan Roy is a malignant presence, a bully, and a liar, and he was fully personally aware of all the events that took place for many, many years, and he made efforts to hide this. He had a twisted sense of loyalty to bad people like Lester McClintock, and a sheer disregard for the safety of migrant workers, non-union workers, and even union workers, and also for the vulnerable performers and guests. Logan keeps a watchful eye over every inch of his empire, so the idea that he would have allowed millions of dollars in settlement money to be paid without his knowledge is just foolish. And I believe that his reign ends today. He also states that he has some documents with Logan's signature on them that proves these cover-ups and proves his knowledge of it. And those documents are with cousin Greg, and those are the documents that he pulled out of that fire pit. Kendall then drops the mic and walks away. And back on the yacht, Logan, Shiv, and Roman are watching this all go down. And Roman and Shiv are just shocked about this, not believing what their brother just did. But Logan, on the other hand, is sitting there watching it, not saying a word, but a smirk does come across his face. And that is how Season 2 of Succession ends. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm not going to beg you to hit a bell button, but subscription would be cool. If you liked the video, hit a thumbs up. If you thought these videos sucked, hit a thumbs down. There is a share button for a reason. Sharing is caring. And if you do say something in the comment section, I stay away from the comment section because normally they're a cesspool. But just know I do really appreciate you guys checking these videos out.